What is wrong with me? I feel so empty and lost. I literally cannot handle this pain. If they were to change, then everything would be okay. All of these thoughts have consumed my life at one point or another. And it wasn't until I was introduced to CODA, or Codependency Anonymous, when things really started to make sense and change. This is where my deep, deep healing started. I learned that my sadness and loss had brought me to this point. I was constantly depressed, anxious, lonely, scared, and just living in full despair. You see, CODA is when I had this mind shift. It was like an awakening. I learned to look at my pain as a gift, because without it, I wouldn't have had this intense desire to want to change what was going on in my life. Simply put, without the desire, it's hard to even make a change in your life, right? I knew that I wanted happiness, balance, and peace, but I wasn't sure how to get it in my life and why I kept getting to this really deep, low point. And I kept asking myself, how do I change these patterns? How do I fix what was going on in my mind and how I was feeling? So first, let's break down, what is codependency? Codependency is a pattern where your self-worth or identity gets tied to other people's approval, needs, or problems. Now, there are a lot of different ways that people come to find CODA. It could be their family has suggested it, or a doctor, or a program, or curiosity, or a divorce, or separation. You see, CODA teaches us about our characteristics to where we can determine our unhealthy patterns that are going on in our life. And just like most other things in recovery, it starts with an honest look at ourselves. Here are some patterns of characteristics for self-evaluation straight from the CODA book, and this can be used as a tool to help you. So first, there's the denial patterns, and I'm just going to give you a few examples. Difficulty identifying what you're feeling, minimize or alter or deny how you truly feel. And another one could be you mask pain in various ways with like humor, anger, isolation. And then there's the low self-esteem patterns. A few examples could be you judge what you say or do really harshly, like you're never good enough, or you're embarrassed to receive recognition or praise or gifts. Or maybe you value other people's opinion over your own. Then there are the compliance patterns. So like, for example, you would stay in an unhealthy relationship way too long knowing that you shouldn't. Or you compromise your own values and integrity to avoid rejection or confrontation. Then there's control patterns. So maybe you become angry when other people reject your advice. Or you use sexual attention to gain acceptance. Or maybe you demand your needs to be met by others. And then lastly, there's the avoidance pattern. So this would look like you pull people towards you just to push them away when they start to get close. Or maybe you're a harsh judge over what other people say or do. Or maybe you believe that showing your emotions is a sign of weakness. Doing this self-evaluation really helped me understand the self-destructive patterns that I had going on in my own life. I was literally awakened when I heard all of this list because it was describing me to a T. I had literally felt like I had finally found somewhere that understood me. But at the same time, I was kind of like self-conscious because I'm like, wow, this is a little bit intense. Like, am I a terrible person? What is going on? Why do I have all these thoughts and feelings and patterns? Why? I kept thinking, doesn't everybody feel this way and these things at some point in their life? And that is true to an extent. At some point, we all do feel these kinds of feelings because many times codependent behaviors might not be destructive, but for some of us, they become very destructive over time, causing our lives to deteriorate. What was really awesome was it was through Codependency Anonymous that I started to discover my own self-destructive patterns and the source, to where I could really start healing my life. Remember, our self-worth and our well-being comes from God, nobody else. In CODA's core belief, it teaches you that we are not responsible for other people's thoughts, actions, or feelings. We are responsible for our own. So if any of this is resonating with you just a little bit, I have some questions that you can ask yourself to where you can determine if this is something that you want to dive into and follow along. Do we live in extremes instead of balance? And then how do the people closest to us suffer because of our behaviors? And then lastly, do our codependent behaviors cause our relationships to deteriorate or destruct? If you answered yes to any of these, then you are in the right place, because we are going to dive deeper into this tomorrow, talking about boundaries, and every day we're just going to get closer and closer to knowing ourselves more. If you really are serious about this, I have some homework for you to do, or a self-evaluation. So you're going to get your journal and you're going to make a list of these patterns that you see going on in your daily life. Just jot them down and then we'll break it down further as the days go on. But for now, just start making that list where you can be self-aware of what you're noticing going on every day and how it's affecting those around you. Well, I know I threw a lot at you all at once, and this is just the introduction. It might not all make sense at first, but I promise you, as the days go on, as we break this down, this is going to give you such spiritual fulfillment and freedom. It's going to help you every day in your life. Be sure to come back tomorrow where we're going to be talking about detachment and boundaries. I hope you have a good night tonight. I'll see you on the next video. Peace out.